Hello, dear students. A very warm welcome back. Today, we are going to discuss the different types of Cymose inflorescences. Before getting started, let me tell you what Cymose inflorescences are. Cymose inflorescences are known as determinate inflorescences. I have already told you because in these inflorescences, the growth of inflorescence is limited. Okay, because the apex of the inflorescence gets terminated into a flower, and the growth of the inflorescence then takes place by the lateral branches which arise below this terminal flower. And depending upon the pattern, depending upon the type of branching in cymose inflorescences, there are three different types of cymose inflorescences. The first one is monocagal, or you can say uniparous cyme. In this type, the main axis terminates into a flower, it forms a flower. Okay, here you can see. Now a single lateral branch arises below this terminal flower. Here you can see, and the apex of this lateral branch also forms a flower. This type of branching is known as sympodial branching. Okay, you have only one lateral branch. Now there are two different types of monocagal cymes. The first one is scorpioid, or you can say cincinus. In this type of monocagal cyme, the successive floral branches arise alternately on both sides and they form a zigzag pattern. Here you can see this is the apex. Okay, it has got terminated into a flower, and below this flower a lateral branch arises, the apex of which also terminates into a flower. Okay, then one more branch arises in this direction, one more branch arises in this direction. That means the successive lateral branches, they arise alternately. Okay, the first one arises in this direction, second one arises in this direction, third one in this direction, and fourth in this direction. Okay, this is known as scorpioid monocagal cyme. Now the second type is helicoid or bostrix type. In this type of monocagal cyme, the successive lateral branches develop only on one side of the axis, and this forms a unilateral spiral coil like structure. Here you can see this is the apex of the inflorescence. Okay, it gets terminated, it forms a flower. Below this flower a lateral branch arises in this direction, it gets terminated into a flower, and then one more branch arises in this direction. It does not arise in alternative fashion, rather it arises only on one side of the axis. Okay, and this is known as helicoid or bostrix type. So the only difference between helicoid and scorpioid type is, in helicoid type the successive lateral branches arise only on one side, while as in case of this scorpioid type, the successive lateral branches arise alternately on the axis. Okay, now we have the second type, which is known as dicagal or biparous cyme. In this type of inflorescence, cymose inflorescence rather, the main axis gets terminated into a flower, main axis forms the flower. Okay, then a pair of lateral branches arise. Here you can see this is the first one, this is the second one. Okay, at the apex of both these lateral branches form flowers, and this process then continues. That means the pattern of this branching continues. Here one more branch arises in this direction, one more in this direction. Okay, and this process gets repeated several times. Okay, now we have the final type, which is known as polycagal cyme or multiparous cyme. In this type of cymose inflorescence, the main axis forms a flower, and below this flower a number of, more than two lateral branches arise. So, okay, here you can see there are four lateral branches. The apex of all these four lateral branches which arise below this terminal flower, they form flowers at their apices. Okay, now a number of lateral branches arise below each of these terminal flowers, and the apex of all these lateral branches get terminated into a flower. Okay, so the main difference between bicagal and the multi polycagal cyme is, while as in case of bicagal cyme, a pair of lateral branches arise, the apex of which gets terminated into flower. In polycagal cymes, below the terminal flower, more than two lateral branches arise, and the apex of these lateral branches terminates into flowers. Okay, this is all about the different types of cymose inflorescences, and in the next part we are going to discuss some special types of inflorescences. Till then, God bless you and thank you all.